All right, everybody. Welcome
Yo.
to Frightmare HQ with Lloyd and Booger Bear over there.
What's up, stud?
Your beard, is it, and do I feel, is your beard getting bigger, Charles? Is it like, it just looks more full and manly?
I have to keep it under control because if I don't, it like explodes. I look like a homeless like wizard, you know? That's what I look like, so.
Oh, well, there's something to be said about homeless wizards.
Man, they can do all kinds of shit for money. That's for sure.
There you go. So, here we are. We're live, everybody. We are starting out a brand new decade tonight.
Oh, God.
Charles.
What decade are we in? What did the last like 4 decades go that we've done? Have we done 5 decades now? I think we've done 5 decades now. 80s,
I know.
90s,
we've
70s.
lived an entire lifetime on these live streams, Charles. We have.
What's our life? What are we doing, Lloyd? What's wrong with us?
Hey, man, it's good because we get to spend some time with
all of our awesome
quality
peeps.
times with these awesome peeps. Absolutely. There's several on. I'm just going to run down the list real quickly. Eduardo Gonzalez, David Dugas, Travis Brown. Yes, Todd Lewis. That's David again. Charles Anderson. What's up, Charles?
What's happening?
What is happening? Stephen Bird is here. Hello, sir.
Bert's making it hurt like every day.
Raven Rose. Howdy.
Oh, right.
How are you? Jeanette Nolan. What are you up to, Jeanette?
No.
Am I skipping anybody? There's a bunch. Brad Bingham. Tyler Burrows, Ashley Guillory, Allie Tappa. And they just keep joining. Oh my gosh, you guys!
There's too many,
awesome.
Lloyd. There's too many. I'm scared.
So much.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm happy to be here. I almost thought we were gonna have to postpone today because I didn't feel very well this morning.
You got your second shot, right?
I got my second COVID shot yesterday, and for those that don't know, when I got the first COVID shot, the next day I was like dead, basically. Like I'd be like, it like knocked me out. Like I was gone. This morning I was like, oh shit, I'm dead again. Nope.
I'm dead again.
Dead, basically. Yeah, then about noon, I was like, ooh, I feel good. I'm going to go do the show.
That's so crazy because I've had both of mine and I'm fine. I had a little soreness in my arm and that was it. I know. Well, just, I feel like I got mauled by a Yeti or something. That's what mine felt like. I felt like I was sexually violated by Bigfoot. That's what happened. That's right. Well, Charles, we are going to make it through it. We're going to survive together, both of us, because there is strength in numbers, and our numbers are legion with Frightmare HQ. And tonight, we start a brand new decade. Well, new to us here on the show, right?
Yeah, new to us, but it's going to be fun. Todd, to answer your question, I got the Moderna vaccine. So, Moderna.
That might be the difference. I got Pfizer.
Fine, go Pfizer yourself. All right, I got
Charles, you act like I'm trying to one up you or something. I'm not trying to one up you on the shot.
You're like, well, Moderna. I got Pfizer. Pfizer's.
I was just sharing. I felt like everybody was sharing information, so I was like, okay, I'll share too. I got the Pfizer, everyone, and Charles is like, well, la-ti-da. That's a good looking sticker. Do you sell those anywhere, Charles?
I don't.
You don't? You just stick them on your head at home and all over your body.
All I do. If you ever get a package from Frightmare HQ, it has one of these stickers on it. But other than that, I don't. If you come out Saturday, I'll have a bunch of them I'm giving away.
There you go. If you come out Saturday to the Spring Slasher Camp at Frightmare Collectibles. Yes. What a great segue.
Hey guys, welcome to our segue. That's all we're talking about today, not 1960. So
that's right.
Hey, welcome.
There it is. Look at that. I hope all you guys can make it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. You know all about it. I don't have to tell you anymore.
You're that's it. Get your asses out there. We're done.
You know when, where, and who's going to be there and all that stuff. So come on out, eat some barbecue, shop. Say hi to Felisa and Dave, man. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
that's the awesome part.
That.
And then you can see Charlie in his booth selling Frightmare HQ VHS tapes and
I'm
all
doing
kinds of wonderful
I'm
horror ephemera.
no, I'm actually just selling romantic comedies from 1984. That's it.
Awesome. Well, that
I've
sounds good to
changed.
me.
I've changed genres. I'm sorry. It's over.
You've changed.
Hold on.
Ow.
Over here.
Charles,
All
should we
right.
get started?
Man, I think we should. We got quite a few actually today, guys. And I found out something would try to make this list is that all the horror movies from like the 60s, when you try to pull them, they don't list them as horror movies. Most of them are listed as thrillers. So you're like, oh, there's not that many. I started going through, and Lloyd found some too. And I was like, well, that's a horror movie. So is that.
Yeah.
So is that. But it says, no, it's a thriller.
Back in the day, that's, especially in 1960, that seemed like it was very common to call horror movies thrillers.
Well, you're a thrilling son of a bitch, all right?
That I'm thrilling.
Yeah, like, I don't know what that means, but yeah, let's roll with it.
Here we go. All right, first one on the list, y'all. 1960. A surgeon causes an accident which leaves his daughter disfigured and goes to extremes to give her a new face. Released in France, January 11th, 1960. It is the French Italian psychological body horror film Eyes Without a Face, co-written by Billy Idol.
Yeah, Billy Idol wrote this.
Oh, sorry. Co-written and directed by Georges Franjou.
Georges
Franjou. So the film received an American debut in an edited and dubbed form in 1962 under the title of The Horror Chamber of Dr. Faustus.
Oh.
A version known to be far superior to the original. Les yeux sans visage.
Les aviens c'est ça. That's all.
So, Eyes Without a Face, besides it being a Billy Idol song, this was a 1960 French horror film that is highly regarded, and this movie has been done over and over so many times since this film.
Over and over.
It is. So, it's a super duper classic that has kind of, withstood the test of time, and it's been, revisited over the decades, right, Charles?
It has been. This is the time when France was known for film, but not really for horror movies, you could kind of say. So it was something a little different, and it's something that definitely grew on people later in life. The initial release, all of the French critics and a lot of the audience just found it very disappointing to watch. It's kind of interesting, but I can see that it was really ahead of its time, this movie. Like, it was something they were like, I do not know what this is. I do not want to watch. No watch. No.
Yeah, well, it was ahead of its time, but man, I tell you what, I can't count how many times there's been a movie about somebody trying to replace a loved one's face, either a wife or a daughter or whatever, It's just been done. How many films can you think of that did that?
432.
Yeah. Right?
432. And I mean, if it makes you guys feel super old, this movie is now what, 61 years old. So there you go.
Right.
Here we go.
But yeah,
super
I agree with Ashley Guillory too. She says that it's beautifully filmed. It is. It's a beautiful movie. Charles Anderson says a score by Maurice Jarre of Lawrence of Arabia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Maurice Jarre was really, really great score. I know Maurice went on to be nominated for a crap ton of Oscars, Academy Awards. I know he did Lawrence of Arabia, Passage to India, Dr. Zhivago. So definitely a fun thing to see. I like his work on. He did a later Alfred Hitchcock movie called Topaz too. He scored that. That was a pretty good score.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Eyes Without a Face was super young in his career, and the guy who directed this hadn't directed. Well, he had directed some beforehand, but mostly, French drama films,
right?
Which most of them were. But yeah, I've always thought this was a great movie. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, it's definitely a masterpiece. Something that people didn't really think at the time, but it is provides a lot of chills, and it's super dark. It's a very dark film, and
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like a piece of poetry the way it's shot. It's just beautiful.
Right. And it also is worth mentioning that Spanish director Jess Franco or Jesus Franco created films throughout his career that were basically influenced by this film, like the awful Dr. Orloff. And he made a couple of Orloff films, didn't he?
Yeah, made a couple
So,
of films.
yeah. And there was one later, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was later in his career that was pretty good, and it was kind of a remake of this as well, but it was a lot more violent. Of course, Franco. There you
Yeah,
go.
Jess Franco's a pretty fun guy. He
Hmm.
did some fun stuff. Was that Faceless? Was that the one that he did that was like
That's
that?
one I'm thinking of. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think that was the later one, like maybe
Was that
late
the later one?
'80s, mm-hmm,
And
or
Faceless is
early
another one
'90s.
that's I think Faceless had like 9 titles too, so who
Yep.
knows?
But then Franco did the Orloff stuff. Was actually the first one was 1962. So I mean, he pretty much started out his career, based on this, based on the Eyes Without a Face.
Yeah. And then he went on to direct 39 movies a year or something. So
Oh yeah, Oasis of the Zombies and a bunch of Euro trash type
that's a
stuff.
guy we have to do a special show on sometime, but it may
Oh
take
my
a while
God,
because there's a lot of stuff to talk about with him.
there's a whole lot of stuff, but I like Franco, and I think a lot of people out here, a lot of our watchers, either they're already fans or I would love to introduce Jess Franco
Oh
to a lot of
yeah.
people.
I I told you last month. I mean, I was in like a bidding war trying to get a original Faceless movie poster that was autographed by him, that was authenticated. And apparently, there was somebody with a lot more money than me because they just kept laughing at me and throwing more money at it. I was like,
Yeah,
fine. It's like
exactly.
Jesus, I want it. Give it to me.
So, there you
Eyes
go.
without a
That
face, though.
was Eyes Without a Face. George, what was his name? Franju or something like that. This is a classic film. Definitely recommended.
Yeah, I mean, this is one that I think a lot of people have seen or have heard about. Um, it's definitely one of the highlights of 1960. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend going to watch it. It's on HBO Max and the Criterion Channel. If you want to stream it and watch it, you can rent it on Amazon, Apple TV for like $4. The Criterion brought a Blu-ray out of this, and the Criterion Blu-ray is like $40, and this is why I tell you guys to get a region-free player, because the same transfer on that Criterion Blu-ray you can import from the UK from BFI Films, and it's like $14. So save
Yeah,
yourself some money. Just keep saving yourself money and just importing the same transfers from other countries. It'll work
there
in the
you
long
go.
run.
All right, Charles, you want to jump on the next one?
This is a fun one. 19th century medical doctor purchases cadavers from a murderous pair without questioning their unethical procurement methods. It was first released in the UK February 2nd, 1960. It's the British horror film The Flesh and the Fiends, directed by John Gilling and starring Peter Cushing. The film was later released in the US under the title of Mania. It was also known under the title Psycho Killers and The Fiendish Ghouls. And the Mania cut of the US, it was slightly different. They edited some stuff out that kind of, I don't know, they felt was a little too hardcore, I guess. But
Yeah.
if you guys aren't familiar with this movie, Flesh and the Fiends, there's actually like 7 different versions of this movie, depending on where it was released. There's a UK version, a US version, there's an Italian version, there's a continental version that has a bunch of sexy scenes in it that they wouldn't let released anywhere else. It's just an interesting movie, Have you ever seen this one?
I was just trying to think if I have. There's a few different Burke and Hare type movies out there. and I'm trying to remember if I have actually seen this or not. We do have a trailer, so I'd actually like to watch that now to see if I have seen this one.
No, let's watch it. This is actually a really fantastic movie. It's a nice little gem, and yeah, I say this is one of Peter Cushing's best performances. He does really great in this movie.
The fiendish ghoul.
I don't think I have seen this, Charles.
Selling cadavers and corpses to the sinister Dr. Knox.
So is there a lot of Cockney accents in this?
Cockney, Lloyd. There's all kinds of Cockney in this.
I could just imagine, though, especially the grave robbers having a very heavy Cockney accent in this movie.
Well, you know, this movie's very macabre, and I say this movie's also super ahead of its time. It was, you know, it's not. It may seem like it, but you know, this was kind of made in the success of Hammer films. This is not a Hammer film, even though it does closely resemble a Hammer film in a lot of the styling. But yeah, I mean, you talk about Burke. This is what it is. It's Burke and Hare and Dr. Robert Knox, and there's a lot of movies made by that because you know Burke and Hare were kind of infamous body snatchers. So
right.
And it's actually, I enjoy this movie a lot. You know, it's one of those that I didn't see for a long time, but it was finally, I think it was restored some years back for DVD, and I finally watched it, and it's out in a really good Blu-ray now too. So
okay.
I recommend everybody give it. Yeah. I mean, I'd say it's really great, super atmospheric. And it's really good horror out of Britain. I mean, it's really great movie.
There's a lot of really good comments from everybody about this. Let's see. Can't go wrong with Peter Cushing from Todd Lewis. I love this movie. It was so dark, says Chrissy Gilliland.
Donald Pleasance is in it too. This. Donald Pleasance is in it. He plays Hare.
Yeah. Well, Flesh and the Fiends, you said you can get, there's a good Kino Lorber Blu-ray, 1999.
Yeah. Kino Lorber did a 2K Master Resto on this, and the Kino Lorber Blu-ray actually has the original version and it has the Mania version, the US version, which is tightened up a little bit. Both of them are pretty fun watches, and that Kino Lorber Blu-ray is beautiful. It's a beautiful movie. So well done, Lloyd.
Brad,
it's also on Shudder.
Oh, Shudder's good, yeah. Brad, did we watch that at the shop one day when you were out? I must not have been tuned in or didn't remember it. Maybe I have seen it, but I think it's worth going back and checking it out again.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it's really well put together. You know, I enjoyed this one a lot. You know, John Gilling did a lot of these kind of movies. Some of them were good, some of them weren't. You know, he did not so much horror after this. I know he did a lot of like action adventure type pirate movies after this. He did like Pirates of Blood River. So it's an interesting take from him, but I would say watch it. You know, if you're going to jump in and watch it, it's great. And that Kino Lorber Blu-ray is probably the best way to watch this one. It's really good. And you get to see a super young Donald Pleasance. So
yeah, absolutely. That makes it worth it. All right, guys. Let's move on to the next one, shall we?
Shall we? I was trying to remember in my head. I was like, how old was Donald Pleasance in that movie? He'd probably still like 40, but he was young for Donald Pleasance because Donald Pleasance was always old. So it's like he was always old man.
Let's see. I've got it. My goodness, he was born in 1919.
That's what I said. He was still like 40, but he didn't start acting till like his mid 30s. I don't think he started acting. So
that's crazy.
I know.
All right, next one up.
What do you got?
A young man murders women and uses a movie camera to film their dying expressions of terror. Released in the UK, May 16th, 1960. It is the British psychological horror thriller Peeping Tom, directed by Michael Powell.
Oh, it's Peeping.
Oh, Peeping Tom.
It's Peeping Tom. Super highly regarded film, though. You know, always great. And, you know, Peeping Tom was pulled from British cinemas just after a few days because the public went insane over this movie. The public in Britain went absolutely batshit crazy over this movie being shown. Like they were like, "There's no way, pull it!" And they pulled it. They sure as hell pulled this movie, you know?
Yeah, it's a bizarre movie, you know, and a lot of people say that this film got overshadowed by another film that came out in 1960.
Yeah,
and we'll be getting to that soon. But you want to go ahead and roll the trailer for this one? We got a trailer for it.
Yeah, we could roll the trailer for it. You know, really, this is, in my opinion, it's almost an equal to the other film that we're talking about that we'll talk about later. But this movie is so well done. And at the time, though, I mean, the way it depicted child abuse and pornography and voyeurism, people were like, "What the hell? You can't show this in the cinemas." The cinemas.
I guess I can see that.
But it became a classic. It took it a little while to become a classic. But you know, it's definitely now considered an important film, especially when you explore, you know, the rise of voyeurism and filmmaking as it rises into the 1970s. This is a super important film to follow that and see the history of where all this came from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it is. Yeah, it's definitely. We've already, you know, talked about two very important films from 1960. So, and we're talking about masterpieces here.
Yeah, and you know, this is the way this movie is. I mean, the theme of this is very similar to like what Hitchcock was doing. I mean, he'd already brought out Vertigo by now. Vertigo was brought out in '58, and that's, you know, people didn't lose their minds over Vertigo, but this one pushed it a little bit more. I will say that this movie did go a little bit farther than Vertigo went, but this movie feels like a very much Alfred Hitchcock film. This whole movie, the way it's shot, the way they do a lot of the camera angles, the way the acting is doing, it's like it wanted to be a Hitchcock movie.
There is no future for anyone who tries to befriend him.
I don't care because I like this movie.
What did you say?
I said I like this movie a lot. And this is later in Michael Powell's career because Michael Powell had already been, I think Michael Powell was nominated for an Oscar like in the early 40s for one of the movies he did, 49th Parallel or something. He's been around for a long time. It's like a long time. Michael Powell also did The Red Shoes, which is late 40s. He did a bunch of stuff, but very later in his career. People went a little nutty over this one.
One of the greatest horror movies of all time.
Peeping Tom. That's also what I call Lloyd.
That's also what we do for our Patreons too.
Yeah, it's Peep, and I steal your guys' underwear. You don't even know until it's gone.
Okay, well, Peeping Tom, guys.
Man.
There you go.
Who doesn't like Peeping Tom? Where is this one at? Is this one streaming anywhere? Somewhere.
It says Prime and Criterion, free with ads on Tubi.
Tubi? It's everywhere now. We don't care anymore. 60 years later, we're like, let's show all of it, guys. We love it.
Yeah. Put it everywhere.
Everywhere.
There used to be a US Blu-ray, right? Or am I just thinking about the old out-of-print Criterion DVD?
Peeping Tom? No, I don't think so. Yeah, it's just the Criterion DVD. This was released in. This has been released overseas. There's actually there was like a 50th anniversary Blu-ray done like 2010 that was really good, but that's a region B. So if you want a Blu-ray, you're gonna have to import it. The Criterion DVD is okay, but it's still a DVD. It's only 480i. It's never gonna really be that good.
I looked it up on Amazon, and Peeping Tom, and it shows that it's available.
Yeah.
On Prime Video, and then other movies suggested underneath it. Getting It On.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite movie.
Peeping Tom. That's a great double feature. Getting It On.
What
else? Peeping Tom. Oh, you know why? It's because it says Peeping Tom in the description of that movie.
I don't know. I like when I pulled up the details of this. It said Peeping Tom is also known as Peeping Tom. It actually said that on IMDb. I was like,
oh,
okay.
Thanks, IMDb.
El Peeping Tomo. I'm like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, great movie. I mean, it was pulled from British cinemas, like we said, but it played like a lot of places, like 1961. Like a year later, I think this played like everywhere, even the US. They were like, nah, well, let's go ahead and do it. But yeah, Peeping Tom is great, guys. You haven't seen Peeping Tom, you know what? I can reenact it for you. Be all right. So we'll do it later.
Yeah,
Keep
we'll
your blinds open a little bit.
Join us after the show.
Keep your blinds open, and I'm
At
gonna
Charles's
come
house.
a peeping. I'm gonna come a peeping.
All right, Charles. I think this is one of your favorite movies, isn't it? This next one?
No,
I thought it was.
no.
No?
Do you want
Okay.
it? Do you want it to be?
No.
Are you sure?
Not at all. I just, for some reason, I thought you really liked Village of the Damned.
Well, you also thought that about Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know why.
I don't know about that.
You bought me all those like Pirates of the Caribbean balloons, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?" You're like, "It's Jack Sparrow." I was like, "I don't know." Lloyd.
Yeah, that's an alternate reality. All right. Everybody knows what it is because I just said what it is, but go ahead and intro it.
In the English village of Midwich, the blonde-haired, glowing-eyed children of uncertain paternity proved to have frightening powers. This was first released in London, June 16th, 1960. It's the UK-US sci-fi horror film, Village of El Damned, directed by Wolf Riehle. It is adapted from the 1957 novel, The Midwich Cuckoos. Cuckoo! Cuckoo! And Midwich Cuckoo was the original title of this, and they made them change it.
I'm so glad they changed it.
Apparently, when they were getting ready to do press for this, they were like, nobody's going to go watch a damn movie called The Midwich Cuckoos. We're going to change it into something else. Fine. You can change it all you want. I don't
Brad
care.
Bingham says this is the first killer kid movie. I don't know. What about... I thought there were other killer kid movies before this. The little girl that kills people. But this is an early killer kid movie for sure, and it might be the first. I don't know. I thought there's one in the 50s though.
I don't remember.
Yeah. The Bad Seed, that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bad Seed, the one with the little crazy girl. Rhoda, I think was her name. Yeah, I think her name was Rhoda, right? She was. I remember that though. That's a weird movie too. Bad Seed.
That is a good movie. I like. We've talked about this before. I really like killer kid movies. They're fun.
Well, yeah. I mean, Village of the Damned was an early one. I mean, then you've got in the 60s there was Kill Baby Kill too, which was a Bava movie. It's a genre that started off kind of slow, but really blew up in 70s and 80s a lot.
Yeah. People are asking the Bad Seed when it came out, 1956.
1956, man. That was an early one.
Yep.
That was an early movie. But yeah, no, Village of the Damned, I don't mind it. I actually think it's really, really well made. I think it's actually probably one of the better movies out of the 1960s. There's a lot of good movies, but this one is very good in the ways of sci-fi horror, like one of the better sci-fi horror movies. It was questionably remade by John Carpenter. It was a little not Carpenter's finest work when he remade this, but the original one still stands as being really well done. Do you concur, Lloyd?
I concur, Charlie Doze. I like Village of the Damned. Ooh, it's a groovy flick, man.
It's groovy, man. It's like way out there,
Can we talk 60s through this whole show?
Oh, man.
This is a groovy flick.
Oh,
do I say man? Or do I say man?
You better watch out. You better watch out, man. The fuzz coming for you. Baby talking like that.
Oh, you better not be holding.
Oh, man. You better watch out. Bread bummer, you digging down the flow fry, my friend. You got the fuzz.
Woo. That's right. I got some fuzz on the flanks flipping.
Man, you got to be saying with the grok, man. Come on.
There you go.
Get that groove understated, man.
So Village of the Damned, I don't know. I mean, it's a killer kid movie.
Okay, man, it's out of sight,
it's from the 60s. Man. I'm not real sure,
Lloyd,
man.
Can you dig it, Lloyd?
I can
you dig this movie?
Village of the Damned. I'm digging it.
Well, god damn it, I can damn the Village of the Damned, digging it too. Hot diggity damn. Woo! No, this is a fun movie, and it's kind of interesting when it was released in the UK. They made them like have their eyes not glow like through the whole movie. Like they didn't want that as an effect.
So they got rid of that?
Yeah, they got rid of that because they said it was too scary. It's like, what? And the way they did that was really cool. They just like they did like a negative of their eyes and just overlaid it.
Right.
But they made them take that out. They go, no flippity flopping eyes. Come on. No flippity flops.
Yeah. Let's see. Somebody asked if we were having heart attacks. Stars fan. Oh, Debbie Disaster.
You know,
are you both having heart attacks? Do we need to call 911? I don't know. What the hell just happened? I think Charles did. He had a heart attack. Hey, he's back.
No. One thing I've always wondered about this movie is whatever happened to the damn kids in this movie, because they were good actors. And like none of them went on to do anything, I don't think. I think
really?
One of us probably like a butcher. The other one probably worked at like a grocery store. They were just like, I was in Village of the Damned. You were not.
Oh yeah. Village of one of the kids, what in the remake was what's that guy's name? He used to come to our show as a guest a lot.
Is it
Thomas Decker?
I hope so.
Thomas Decker.
I'm not talking about the 95 remake. I'm talking about the 1960s.
Well, I know what you're talking about. I'm talking about something else.
Thomas Decker, was he in this one too? Does he ever age?
No.
Son of a bitch.
I don't know. What are the names of the kids? Let's look on IMDb.
I don't know, Steve.
We're going to have a whole podcast series on what happened to the little kids from Village of the Damned.
It's found
be all
Steve.
Acted out.
He works at the local grocer number 312. Here he is. Hi, Steve. Hi. I was in Village of the Damned, goddamn. Good day.
He's like 7 foot tall. And
yeah. He's 73 years old now. He's like, ah. What the hell are we talking about?
Oh, I don't know, man. You know, I got to be honest. I'm not a big fan of this movie, Village of the Damned. It's not, I mean, nothing against it. You just
told me you could dig it. You said you dug it.
I dig Village of the Damned. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. The little kids are creepy.
But what about those eyes? What about the eyes, Lloyd?
As a whole, this movie's just kind of boring. So let's move on to the next one.
But there was so much absent motherism in this. What do we do? I'm scared.
No, I hate this movie. It was been black and white. Should have been in color. It would have been better.
What about Michael, though? What about Michael, goddammit?
I don't know. I don't know about Michael.
Wasn't Michael the one in the movie where his voice dubbed? It was like this. Somebody talked like this the whole time.
I don't know what is going on. I don't know what you're talking about.
Village of the Damned, guys. I'm Michael. Look at my blonde hair.
Oh no, you're talking about a Fulci movie. You're talking about Bill.
I gotta go. It's done. We're done for the day. Let's go. Let's get out of here.
Okay. Listen, I'm going to get us back on track. It's not streaming. You can rent this movie for $3.99 on Apple TV and Amazon.
Why not?
Or you can buy a Warner Brothers Blu-ray for $17.99.
Which, when you hear the term Warner Brothers Blu-ray, that means Warner Brothers scanned it like 37 years ago and it looks like shit and they put it on Blu-ray. That's kind of
one of those. Is this one of those on-demand ones too? WB on-demand?
Probably, knowing Warner Brothers.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're moving on to the next one.
No. Let's keep talking about Village of the Damned.
No.
Did everybody leave yet?
All right. Upon entering his fiance's family mansion, a man discovers a savage family curse and fears that his future brother-in-law has entombed his bride-to-be prematurely.
His brother-in-law.
First premiering in Palm Springs, June. Palm Springs? What a place to premiere a movie.
Fucking Palm Springs. Hey, that's where Udo Kier lives. I know that. That's where Malcolm McDowell lives, too.
Came out June 18th, 1960. It is the American Gothic horror film House of Usher, Directed by Roger Corman, starring the great Vincent Price, and written by Richard Matheson from the 1839 short story The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. And let's go right into a trailer. What do you say, Charles?
Let's do it. We can talk about it a little bit, but this is a great movie, and some people kind of consider this the best movie that Roger Corman ever did. It's I don't know if I 100% agree with that, because I like some of the other bonkers shit that Roger Corman did, but this is a fun movie.
Sorry about that. I'm looking for the trailer.
Whoa.
I don't see it. I don't think we have a trailer for House of Usher. Somehow I must have missed it.
Screw it. We don't need it.
Yeah, but this is a great film. House of Usher, isn't this the one with Barbara Steele in it?
I don't remember Barbara Steele in this one. I know Price is in this one.
I thought she was like one of the. God, what was her character in this House of Usher?
I don't know. I know Myrna Fahey was in this, and I can't remember anybody else.
Yeah, Roger Barbara Corman. Steele was in one of those Corman, I thought. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong one.
This is a good movie, though. And quite surprisingly, this, despite being an American film, this was never released like widely in the US. It was only showed briefly in LA and New York. It was released like everywhere in Europe and Asia, but never here for some reason. It pretty much was gone until like 2001 when MGM finally brought this out on DVD. And that was the first time I had ever seen it. I picked it up and I was like, I don't know this movie. Vincent Price, I'm going to watch this movie. That's kind of what I did. And this is a really fun movie. It's really, really well done. Super, super gothic. And of course, this is going to be a gothic classic, but
yeah. I did get corrected. Charles Anderson and Brad both told me that's Pit and the Pendulum that I'm thinking of, and that is correct. Yes.
Calm. So, God, Lloyd. That's why we need Charles and Brad on here. Sorry.
That's right, we do. So I can just look at him and go, "What was that movie I'm thinking of with the guy and the girl, and it was directed by the other guy?"
I'm gonna tell you guys, we're starting to get into territory where maybe me and Lloyd aren't as familiar as we were when we were in the 70s and 80s and 90s.
That's true.
I always tell people Charles starts in like 1968. That's where I start. Now I've got some knowledge from some of these movies.
I do too. But it's not like I forte.
It's not like the 70s and 80s where I know a whole bunch of shit about all those movies,
Right. And and I mean that about Village of the Damned. I see why it's great, and those kids are super creepy, but I don't know why. It's not my thing. But I kind of feel like a lot of films from the '60s were that way with me. But guys, we're about to hit some major films from the '60s, so I can't say that about everything.
It was a turning point of a lot of genre, especially a horror genre at the time. It was adapting into that, how far can we push this gothic style feel? And that's what they were doing.
That, and I think things were becoming a little more realistic also.
Yeah, very much. This is a gorgeous film, though. I mean, this is very, very much a lavish undertaking from Roger Corman, who kind of was known for a lot of maybe not as grandiose films later on. Some stuff that was not like this, and you get to see Vincent Price without a mustache in it, so there's that. That's probably the best part of the movie.
Mustacheless Vincent Price.
Mustacheless. No, but I mean, come on, you got Matheson on here. Matheson's one of the greatest writers ever. He adapted this, and I like this one a lot. This was I get it. You get into the 60s. A lot of people don't necessarily like a lot of the 60s because they're scary in a different way as opposed to like the gory slasher special effects films that would come 20 years later.
Right.
Very much reliant on atmosphere and music and acting from people and jump scares without any blood. That's kind of what a lot of it was.
Yeah.
But this one is creepy. This is a subtly creepy film. I think this one delivers really, really well for a Poe adaptation. And definitely, I think it's one of Roger Corman's better movies. I think it's a great movie. It really is.
Yeah. Well, he made some good Poe stuff, and this was definitely one of them.
Yeah.
So. And they're very very memorable films. These are not streaming, or this is not streaming anywhere, but you can rent it for $3.99 on Amazon streaming, not streaming for free, in other words, or with a subscription.
Yeah.
And it looks like there's a Blu-ray, Charles.
Yeah, the only way you can get this is on the Vincent Price Blu-ray collection. It's I can't remember which one it's on. There's like a 6-disc set. It's like $40, but I know it has Witchfinder General, this one, Pit and the Pendulum, and Masquerade of Red Death, and it's a good set. I can't remember the other 2 movies that are on it.
Part 2. I think that's the collection 2, but maybe not.
One of them, yeah. There's a whole bunch of like Vincent Price collections. They've been doing these for a few years, where they'll bring out these Vincent Price movies to Blu-ray, and a lot of them are only on these.
And they're really very much improved prints from everything else that's out there, because there's a lot of crappy Vincent Price prints out there.
And that's kind of like what they do with Herschel Gordon Lewis's movies too. A lot of them are only in those sets, like the Arrow sets and stuff. The only way you can get them. That's kind of how a lot of the Vincent Price movies are. And I always tell people, if there's one you want, you should get it, because they always move those Price collections out of print, and then they go up a lot. Then they bring out a different one or something. So
and that's what they did with the first set. They released it, and then it went out of print, and people were selling for crazy money. And then they just recently reprinted it and put it back out. So
they were like, "We got you good, suckers.
We got y'all. We got y'all.
Gotcha."
Charles, I can't wait to move to the next one. This is a landmark film. Everybody knows it.
Well, in this movie, a secretary embezzles a shit ton of money, $40,000 from her employer's client. She goes on the run, guys. She checks into a remote hotel run by a young man under the domination of his mother. What is it, Lloyd?
Ooh, a mother.
This first opened in Boston, Chicago, and Philadelphia on June 22nd, 1960. It's the American psychological horror thriller that made people lose their minds. It's called Psycho, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, starring Anthony Perkins, Janet Leigh, Vera Miles, based on the 1959 novel of the same name.
By Robert Bloch, right?
By Robert Bloch. The very first Alfred Hitchcock movie I ever saw at the age of about 5 was Psycho. And I didn't like it because I was 5. I was about 5. I didn't like it because I didn't know what was going on. So, but it grew on me. I love this movie. This is a phenomenal film.
It really is. I remember I was very young too, and my mom came running in my room and said, "Come out here now. Psycho is about to come on TV." And I had no idea what she was talking about, but it changed my life. This movie, like I said earlier, is a landmark film.
It changed cinema. Psycho changed cinema forever.
One of my favorite things is the teaser trailer that he did for this, where he's walking around, and it's kind of dark comedy kind of stuff. Isn't he in the house too at one point, and he's saying this staircase, and he's kind of giving you a tour of everything. I think that's one of the best teasers ever made.
Yeah, and this was something audiences hadn't really seen. There was a lot of risque stuff in this, like her and her bra. It was the first time they'd ever seen somebody flush a toilet on a movie. They were like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" It's blowing our minds. It's crazy. Hitchcock chose to film this in black and white, even though he didn't have to. He could have filmed this in color. He chose to film it in black and white. He did that kind of to cut costs, but he also thought that in color, there's no way they would ever have got it past censors with a lot of the blood shots, which would have made sense back then, because this would have been cut to hell to get released. If it was red blood instead of the chocolate syrup that he used, people would have, no way. There's no way.
Well, and there's so many things, and I'm sure everybody knows or has heard all of these little tidbits, but, one of the things that outraged viewers the most was they showed a toilet flushing in this movie. And
first time they'd seen it.
I mean, people thought, oh my God, how in the world are people going to be able to handle seeing a toilet being flushed in a movie? Crazy, crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you could say Psycho is really the first modern style horror film because this paved the way for every slasher film that came ahead of it, but even the influence of this can be seen in other genres like 67's Bonnie and Clyde. I mean, you can see influence of the violence and the way the killings are done in Bonnie and Clyde. I mean, it's just this movie influenced so many different movies. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, and then, little things like the sound as the knife went into the body during the shower scene. That was like, I think they said they did that by like stabbing some certain melon, and that was the sound that they got. But even that sound, I can still remember that. When you hear that, you feel that in your mind, you feel that. You're like, oh my God, that was terrible. But that was something I don't think a movie had ever done a stabbing sound before. I don't know, maybe they did, but
lots of stuff. I mean, like I was saying, even the sexuality in this movie with Janet Leigh in her underwear, that was considered very risque at the time. I mean, he was pushing the boundaries of what he could show on screen. I mean, at that time, there was a weird law at that time. It was like a production code from the 30s that pretty much said that you can't show anything that maybe somebody could find offensive. That's basically what it said, which pretty much let the censors run wild with anything they just wanted to cut out. That's what a lot of movies didn't have stuff like this. But this movie changed everything. I mean, it's dark and violent. And it's still considered dark and violent, but you could imagine in 1960 people watching this movie, after watching Howdy Doody, they go watch Psycho. And you're like, what the hell is going on?
Super intense. People fainting in the theater, that kind of thing.
People fainting, yeah. And the music, Bernard Herrmann's score in this is one of the greatest scores ever. I mean, this is insane.
Well, they use this film as a model to teach film school classes, so that just tells you it's one of the. I would say it might be one of the most well-known and most influential films of all time.
Yeah, people always they praise Alfred Hitchcock for this movie, but I say that again, Bernard Herrmann has as much credit to this movie as Alfred Hitchcock, because without that soundtrack throughout this film to set that integral mood of all these scenes, it wouldn't have been as effective. A lot of those scenes would not have been as effective, and I think he's just an important part of this as Alfred Hitchcock.
Well, that shower scene is still. I'm sorry, that shower scene is still terrifying to this day. I mean, you can still turn that on, and it's still shocking and scary.
Yeah, we mentioned Peeping Tom before this, and Peeping Tom was overshadowed by Psycho. In reality, I mean, Peeping Tom dealt with everything Psycho had, but it pushed more than Psycho did. I mean, Peeping Tom actually pushed the envelope in seediness, and even it's just as artistic and it's just as beautiful as this movie. But a lot of people never saw it because of Psycho was a movie done by Alfred Hitchcock, and people went nuts over that.
Yeah.
But I would say if you haven't seen Peeping Tom, or it's been a while, watch it with Psycho, like double feature those. That's a great combo together. I mean, they're both so well done.
Brad Bingham, I'm sorry. He says in the biopic Hitchcock, you can see Anthony Hopkins as Hitchcock listening to the movie instead of watching it with the audience. I think I've seen that. Is that the one with who plays Hitchcock in that, Brad? I can't remember this movie. Yeah. Anyway, this movie, Psycho, is I don't know. What else can you say about Psycho?
What else you could say? But I always go back to the score. And did you know that Alfred Hitchcock originally didn't want there to be really any music in this at all? And Bernard Herrmann came up with the riff and showed it to him and sold it to him. Because I can't imagine that shower scene without his score, Come on.
Yeah.
And it changed me. I love Psycho.
Yeah, it's a fantabulous movie, but
I can dig it, Lloyd.
And it is, like a lot of people say, it's the precursor to slasher films. I can say that, we saw some early slashers, proto slasher type stuff before this, but it's definitely had a big influence on the slasher genre. And a big influence on not just horror, but film in general. Overall.
It did. The guy who adapted this book to screen was Joseph Stefano, and he went on to be producer and co-writer of the original Outer Limits. And I think it's funny because Alfred Hitchcock actually offered him the chance to write The Birds and Marnie. He turned it down because of Outer Limits, but then Hitchcock apparently got mad at him for doing that, and never talked to him again, never let him be in the other stuff. I heard Hitchcock was kind of an asshole, so that's kind of what it sounded like, but
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
But if I was Hitchcock, I'd be an asshole too. I mean, look, he was ahead of his time.
You saw the Birds or the documentary with him, and I don't know, it was about him and his relationship with
Tippy.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, lots of stuff.
Yeah, that movie's crazy.
That's it's the Tippy stuff. Yeah, poor Tippy.
Yeah.
Not a good. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do to you, Lloyd. Take off your panties, Lloyd. We'll never do the show again.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I just ripped him in half.
So Psycho, have we said enough about it yet? I mean, we've gone on and on and on about Psycho. You kind of have to with this movie though, because
I've never seen this movie. I don't know anything about this movie actually.
It's a massive movie.
It's big,
right? So let's move on then.
Let's do it.
Vampire hunter Van Helsing returns to Transylvania to destroy the bloodsucker Baron Meinster, who has his sights on a beautiful young schoolteacher. First released in the UK July 7th, 1960. It's the Hammer horror supernatural gothic film Brides of Dracula, directed by Terence Fisher and starring Peter Cushing, also known as Dracula's Brides or Dracula's Girlfriends in some countries.
In some countries, man. Terence Fisher, man, he was the man. Terence Fisher, by 1960, I mean, he was pretty much one of the reasons why horror came back. He did Curse of Frankenstein in 57, Horror of Dracula in 58, and Curse of Frankenstein back in 57 really is one of the movies that finally brought horror back again, because it was going away. It was not much of it in the 50s, in the early 50s. And I love Brides of Dracula. This is a phenomenal film.
I do too. I like a lot of the Dracula films, even the ones that a lot of people don't like. The Hammer Dracula films, I dig them. I even like what is the Hammer 1970, what was it, Dracula AD 1971.
72?
72, or whatever it was. I love those movies, man.
Any of the ones with Christopher Lee in it, I liked them all. I didn't care.
Yeah.
This is, I think Brides of Dracula is one of the most beautiful ones that was shot. I mean, there is so many great scenes in this, so many great camera angles, so many ways they frame these ladies. The shots are just absolutely beautiful. This is definitely a high time for Hammer. I mean, Hammer was cranking out these fantastic films with the help of Terence Fisher. Did a lot of these, and this is just a great 19th century gothic vampire film. That's kind of how you can throw it in.
So out of all of the the great English horror actors, let's name them off. You got Christopher Lee, Donald Pleasance, Peter Cushing, and you can name more if you want, but who's your favorite of the great British actors?
I mean, really, it's always going to be Christopher Lee for me. I love Christopher Lee. I love Christopher Lee. It's just, he's always been he's always been one of my favorites. Everything he's done. There's a lot of good ones in there. Mm-hmm. A lot of ones that are not as well known, but Lee just did so much.
He really did.
What about you?
I'm more of a Cushing man myself. I don't know why, but I love Cushing. He's just, so many great things that guy did, and they all did great things. Pleasance is right below him, and I don't know. How can you compare any of them? But I think I'm a Cushing man overall.
Yeah, I've always heard that, the more the cushion, the better the pushing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's great.
That was the name of his autobiography, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. Peter Cushing has more for pushing, or something like that.
Something like that. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys here did these movies. I mean, if you think about some of these British horror actors, if we want to talk about ones that are lesser known, I mean, Jack Watson was really good. Jack Watson did Schizo, Gorgon, Tower of Evil. There was some other ones. Michael Gough was good. Michael Gough, however you say his last name, who went on to be Alfred in Batman, but he was also in like Phantom of the Opera and Horror Hospital and some of that other stuff. Yeah. Great actor. People don't know. There's a lot of them out there like that.
Yeah, and I just kind of named like the top 3. There's so many.
So many. Ralph Bates did a lot too. Ralph Bates was really good. He did all the Dr. Dracula and Dr. Jekyll, Sister Hyde, and some of the other Dracula movies he did. Taste the Blood of Dracula, I think. I don't know. There's a lot of them out there, though. Too many.
Todd Lewis, I think, just perfected our saying. He says, more cushion for the Peter Cushing.
Woo! Peter's packing. That's what Raven said. Raven said, Peter is packing. Guys.
Raven, Peter's packing.
Woo! That's kind of sounded like Peter Cushing when they wanted him to be in Halloween. He goes, you can't afford the pushing of Peter Cushing.
That's right. I'm out. Peace. Go get you a Donald Pleasance.
Go get yourself a Donald Pleasance because there ain't no Sam Loomis here, you son bitch. That's pretty much what he said to them.
At the end, he said, "Son bitch."
Son bitch. That's what he said. That's what he said. We should do reenactments of him turning down roles.
I'm not
son bitch.
That's right, bitch. All right, let's move on to the next one, Charles. Before we do that, this movie is not streaming for free or per subscription. You can rent it. Apple TV, Amazon, Shout Factory does have a Blu-ray for $25.
It's a good Blu-ray. It's a good Blu-ray.
I've heard it is. Okay, good.
Really good one. The next one is an absolutely phenomenal, game-changing film that a lot of people probably haven't seen. It's a great movie, though. Most people might have, though. It's got kind of more recognition in the last 10 years.
So, I'm not sure if I've seen this or not, but I'm interested. So, roll away, Charles.
Yeah, a group of sinners involved in interconnected tales of murder, revenge, deceit, and adultery all meet at the gates of hell. This was released in Japan, July 30th, 1960. It's a Japanese religious horror film called Jigoku. It was directed by Nobuo Nakagawa. It's also known as The Sinners of Hell. This movie was, if not, I think this was the first movie ever to use gore has something front and center in a film. This movie was very gory for 1960. I know there's a lot, we know Herschel Gordon Lewis, the godfather of gore. This movie is super gory, came out in 1960. Jigoku was kind of almost lost for a long period of time because when this was made, the studio that made this was the final film that they made before they went bankrupt. And a lot of people didn't see it. And not only that, the Japanese public went insane. Like, this movie was outrageous to them. Like, the fact that it was being shown to them and what they were having to watch, they lost their minds a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard that this was kind of controversial.
Yeah, very controversial. But a very awesome movie. I pulled a couple of clips from it that I can kind of show you guys. And when you watch these clips, just think that this is 1960. I mean, it's like, it's crazy. But the movie itself is, it's not bad. It can be a little slow. It can, there's a lot of really intense scenes going on in this movie.
They're in a giant kettle, it looks like.
This is the way the depiction of them being tortured in hell. People were like, you can't show this. And he was like, I can do whatever I want. I'm Mitch Joku. I can do whatever I want. I'm out of here. Like, he dropped the mic. He was like, my name is Nobu Nakagawa, and I can do whatever I want. Pretty much what he said.
This is a pretty wild looking movie, man.
Yeah, I mean, really, one of the first movies to use gore. I mean, really. Yeah, some stuff goes on here.
I don't know what he's saying. Can you translate, Charles?
Yeah, he said that Lloyd Cryer is some bitch. Look at
what
this.
Did they just do to him? Are they about to saw this guy in half?
You're gonna saw this some bitch. It's 1960. It's time to saw people.
What was the? Oh boy, he woke up for that.
Look at that. This is 1960, guys. This is 1960. They thought Alfred Hitchcock was crazy at the time. They weren't seeing this shit.
Huh.
This movie was very, I'm going to say extremely, very, very shortly played in Japan only in 1960 and was almost 100% completely lost until the mid-90s when the original negatives were found of this film. And it did some touring of it before it was picked up, and finally it was released by Criterion. Criterion released this one. And a lot of people weren't aware of how ahead of its time this film was because nobody knew about it. It's crazy.
Oh, is this playing again? Is this the same? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Like Travis said, it was Saw before Saw. I mean, this is crazy, guys. This is 1960.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm. What I'd really recommend, it's I'm not going to tell you it's like the best movie ever made because there is some stuff that's, I don't know, it can be a little slow during it, but what to watch it for, it's super surreal and it is extremely groundbreaking. I mean, what you're seeing in there for 1960 is insane. And very much little seen. I mean, the fact that it finally got some light, because this is one of those movies that may have just disappeared, if nobody had ever come across it.
All right, well, the movie got saved. Yay. So you said we can stream this and there's a Blu-ray.
Yeah, you could stream this on the Criterion channel. In US, it was only released on DVD by Criterion. There is a region-free Blu-ray in Japan, though, by a company called HappyNet. And they're the ones who were responsible for the cleaning and the restore on it. They brought out a 2K Blu-ray that you can import. It's like $35 to import it, but it's way better than the DVD. So,
yeah, HappyNet had the Night of the Living. They had the best looking Night of the Living Dead Blu-ray prior to Criterion. Yeah. So that was my Blu-ray that I had was a HappyNet, and they do a really good job, and they're not super expensive stuff. So
not super expensive, and sometimes they release stuff, like Night of the Living Dead, stuff that maybe they can get around a lot of distribution rules in Japan, and they do their own little cleanups and restos of them. And yeah, this is a great one, though. It's a great one.
All right, so Jigoku, I think that is a good recommendation for a rarely seen film.
Yeah.
The next one is something that I really love. This is a favorite movie of mine from 1960. A vengeful witch and her servant return from the grave and begin a bloody campaign for the witch to possess the body of her look-alike descendant. Released in Italy, August 12th, 1960. It's the Italian supernatural gothic horror film Black Sunday, directed by Mario Bava in his official directorial debut, and starring the beautiful Barbara Steele, loosely based on the 1835 short story Vi.
Ooh.
Black Sunday, guys. Well, here you go. I mean, we just went from a Japanese horror movie that was breaking ground to an Italian horror film that was breaking ground in its own way in Italy.
Yeah. What a great movie it is, too. And not to be confused with the 1977 movie about a Goodyear blimp. It's not the same movie. don't let it find
the same movie.
Don't let it find you. But yeah, I mean, this is a very amazing start to the career of Mario Bava. He had done a little bit of stuff here and there before this, but this is a fantastic Italian Gothic horror film, This is another one that had a lot of names. I think it was called Mask of Satan. Yeah, a bunch of weird names. Like, this is like every country named it something themselves. But the Messer de Dinamio on this poster, that's the original Italian title of this movie. And that is a beautiful poster. That poster is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I love that art. And for those of you that have not seen this, this is kind of shocking in the beginning of the movie. What you see on this poster, they actually do that in the beginning of the movie. They put it on her face and like hammer it on with a big sledgehammer.
Yeah.
So it's pretty intense, man. I love this movie, and this really, Mario Bava set the stage for what Italian horror movies would be for the next, three decades, pretty much.
I mean, we could say 1960 was a super pivotal year in horror history. I mean, everything was getting nastier this year. Everything was getting more intense. They left the 50s with a bang. There was no more sock hopping. 1960s, they just exploded. Like people just wanted this, this stuff. And of course, we know this would lead to a lot of censorship in film that we would see later years. But I mean, if you look at the movies of like 58 and 59 compared to like 1960, it's like flipped over, like the polar opposite. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, this is, I mean, you could say this movie even established Italy with its own horror identity. This kind of like you were saying, put Italy on the map for like their blueprint, right? For like next 20 years. It's kind of what they did.
I totally agree. It's a great movie, y'all. Check it out. Way ahead of its time as well. And like Charles said, it happened so quickly from 59 to 60. It seemed like it was a pivotal year in 1960. You were talking about all the alternate titles. Worldwide English alternative titles are, like you said, Mask of Satan, House of Fright, Mask of the Demon, The Demon's Mask, and the final one that I think is great is The Hour When Dracula Comes. There is no Dracula in this movie at all.
That's how they sold movies. They did that a lot. They would re-release movies in the late 60s and they would call it Dracula for no reason.
Yeah, here you go. Oh, everybody
what's the name
Dracula.
of this movie? Let's call it Dracula Tooted. Okay, let's put it out. Yeah. What's it actually about? It's about the Blob. Okay.
I love what Ashley said. She called it another visual feast from 1960. That describes this movie so well.
That does, like you were saying, this movie it's like equal parts groundbreaking, but also a throwback because a lot of the cemetery scenes in this feel like a throwback to the old Universal horror style days. Like the cardboard crypts and stuff. It does well to not only throw back, but also throw it forward too, in a way. It's a very amazing film. I mean, you knew we were in for a great director when this came out. But look at Mario Bava.
Absolutely, yeah. And I want to say, isn't there like 2 Blu-rays out of this? Weren't there like 2 competing Blu-rays at one point? I don't know about that for sure, guys.
I know Kino Lorber has one out. Has one out. But who knows?
Just when you go out to buy this movie, just be careful if you buy it on Blu-ray. Do your research.
Yeah, do your research.
I thought there were a couple of different versions.
Yeah, when you guys, especially these older films, when we get into like the 2000s, 2010s, everything's shot on digital like now, so it doesn't really matter. Everything's going to look good. But these old movies, it has to do with the negative, how it was transferred. And your best source is always Blu-ray.com because they'll tell you an honest opinion if it's shit or not. Yeah. So I used to do some of their writing stuff on there. So we're not afraid to say it's bad. Looks like shit. Let's go.
Yeah. So, and Barbara Steele has been a guest at Texas Frightmare Weekend several years ago. We need to get her back someday. Hopefully once we get over all this craziness, this Corona stuff, we can do it again. So
yeah.
All right.
Barbara Steele. She's one of the last great actresses from that time period that's still floating around. So,
That's right. Baby Blue TX says when you do your research on these Blu-rays, make sure that it has a mint slip.
Always needs a mint slip. If it gets sent to you without a mint slip, throw it in the trash.
Just throw it in the trash.
Yeah. Don't even watch it.
That's all it takes. All right, guys. Charles, you're next.
Yeah, Yeah, I can.
I don't think I know this movie.
Yeah, another one that's not super well known. It's not easy to find. Yeah. This one, the restless spirit of an executed criminal returns in the flesh seeking revenge. Let me start again. The restless spirit of an executed criminal returns in the flesh to seek revenge upon those responsible for his death. This was first released in West Germany, August 25th, 1960. It is the German crime horror film, The Terrible People, directed by Harald Renault. It is based on Edgar Wallace's 1926 novel of the same name. A very difficult movie to see for a while. You can actually watch this now a little bit, but it was for a while not the easiest movie to
really. So more recently, it
started coming. Yeah, more recently. No, we got the trailer rolling for it. Super creepy German-made movie, and we don't see a lot of German-made films around this time. Yeah, there's some, but not of good quality like this one.
Hey, I'm not familiar with this movie at all. I thought maybe it was a Marilyn Manson movie.
Now what's really funny
that's
is
the horrible people.
The horrible people. What's really funny is one thing I was reading about this is that the German films, I guess like their MPA, the people who censor the movies, said it was an okay movie for 16 and up, but they said it was not appropriate to screen this on public holidays. So no public holidays you could screen this.
That is bizarre. No way.
Like, okay. No
he didn't really hit him with that candlestick. That was a fake.
Yes, I think
the original title of this was The Bonde des Streichens.
That means absolutely nothing to me, Charles. Does that mean The Terrible People?
It means The Bonde des Streichens. I don't know.
So what happens in this movie? The restless spirit of an executed criminal returns in the flesh.
He comes back.
So he comes back.
Look,
in the body of some other, and then there's a jaguar.
There's a jaguar. Look. This is actually a really well made movie. It's this criminal comes from beyond the grave to seek revenge on everybody, and it builds up really well. It's got really awesome atmospheric scenes. It's a lot of really strange twists in this movie. The ending is actually very, very weird as well. And it's another one that you could say is similar to a lot of movies that would come in the future. These sort of beyond the grave revenge type films, horror films that you would see as kind of a staple in the 80s and 90s,
Yeah.
Now I'm not gonna say it's like the best movie ever made. As you progress in this film, it gets a little hard to follow. Things are just very, very weird at times. Like you're like, that doesn't really go there. But I think it's a really, it's a really important film just for kind of the way it was shot and the whole backstory. And the plot of this, like I said, is very similar to a lot of 80s movies where somebody dies and they come back to get somebody.
Well, maybe I would like that. Maybe I should check it out. Richard Nettleton said that he wants to be a jaguar.
He is a jaguar.
Oh, yeah. Did I say a leopard or a jaguar earlier?
You're a jaguar.
I don't know. I don't know my cats, guys. Whatever.
You're like, leave me alone.
Anyway, Richard says he wants to be a jaguar, but I would probably just be a raccoon in the trash.
He's a trash panda. Nothing wrong with that.
Panda.
But no, guys, yeah, this is one that wasn't available for the longest time. So for the longest time, you could watch this. So like really the only place you could see this was Germany and the US. And the problem with US is this was never shown in theaters in the US. In the US, it was dubbed in English. And that's kind of what the trailer was we saw. Like it's like a promo trailer for that. It had a couple of small screenings, but the dubbing is horrible. Like it's nothing that's going on in the movie. Like it's so convoluted. And for the first time ever in 2016, this was brought out to DVD with English subtitles that were properly translated by somebody who actually knew German, as opposed to whoever did this back in the 60s. And that was the only time you could ever see it. Unfortunately, I said 2016, and for some reason there was no Blu-ray brought out in 2016. They brought this out on DVD in 2016, and why they did that,
I remember when this Blu-ray came out.
Yeah,
when this DVD or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, but I was gonna say now you can get a Blu-ray from Germany. It's a Region B, and the Germany Region B does have English subtitles on it properly, but it's in a Edgar Wallace 3 movie collection. It's only $35, but if you have a Region Free player, I highly recommend picking up that Edgar Wallace 3 movie set. It's got some good movies on it, including this one. That is, finally for the first time in like 50 years, you could watch this and understand what's going on, because, it's so happy it has English subtitles on it, because the dub on it is bad. They would actually show this in the US throughout the 70s and 80s in this really horrible dub. And people didn't know. They're just like, this movie's goofy. But great movie to do. You can also rent this for $3 on Amazon, but I'm pretty sure the $3 Amazon rental, when I looked, is the English dubbed version. You don't want that version. Don't do it. Or do it. Do it.
Richard Nettleton just came up that he has resubscribed to a Prime for 9 months.
Richard!
So 9 months.
You, Richard.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate the Prime subscription on Twitch.
I love you, Richard. I love you. Yeah, but like we said, this was based on that novel by Edgar Wallace. It wasn't the first time they made this. There was a silent film that was made in like the late 20s or early 30s too. But yeah, Terrible People, German film. If you got a Region Free player, I highly recommend kind of get a hold of that Blu-ray that was brought out over in Germany. It's really good. Do it. Do it.
Sweet.
Do it.
So the next one is something that I've heard about. I don't think I've ever seen this one either.
It's a good one, Lloyd. How have you not seen this one? You would love this movie.
I probably would. I've always heard about it. Just never have got around to it. Okay, so a reporter travels to a small town on a story about a local sculptor and quickly realizes he has a deadly habit of turning local women into his art.
Oh.
First released in Italy, August 30th, 1960, it is the Italian, West German, Spanish, French, international co-production horror film Mill of the Stone Women, directed by Giorgio Ferroni.
Man, Mill of the Stone Woman is such a fantastic film. This is really, it wasn't brought out in the US a lot. It was not one you could easily get. It was a lot of VHSs of this one. Mm-hmm. Paragon brought one out back in the day, but I was so happy in 2019 that they finally released this on Blu-ray, but it was in France. So I didn't care. I ordered one. Mm-hmm. And when I got it, I realized, well, for some reason, even though I got a French Blu-ray, they didn't give me English subtitles. Instead, they gave me an English dub track of this. I was like, why? Just give me English subtitles. That's all I want in my life. I don't want your crazy dubs. But no, Mill of the Stone Woman is, I don't know, this is a great movie. I guess I'm kind of surprised that you hadn't seen this one, because this was on VHS a lot back in the 80s and 90s. There's a few VHS releases of this one. And, it could be, it could be a little bit better, but it is really, really creepy. It's like, I saw one thing that described it as a mix of Reanimator and House of Wax. And that's kind of what it is. That's kind of what it plays out like. It's aesthetically beautiful. It's almost like a hidden gem. A lot of people haven't seen this one. The title's a little weird, Mill of the Stone Women. That doesn't flow off the tongue that well, but it's it was largely unavailable for a long time. Like I said, there was a couple of VHS releases here and there, but it was so aesthetically pleasing, this movie, and the story in it's really, really great, and it's shot really, really great. And It's right there, advertising an X film.
There's the meal, everybody.
I mean, this is
filmed on a spectacular scale.
The waxworks in this are super disturbing. It is very disturbing.
The critics have called
very unsettling. A lot of stuff going on.
The Mill of the Stone.
I've liked this though. I've always loved this movie. I've been lucky enough to have seen this. I don't know why, but I had this on VHS way back in the day. It's good. It's a great film. Some people say it's like their favorite gothic horror film. I don't think they say that. It's got a style.
I've heard
that's
it spoken
subtle.
of on those terms.
That
It's just a great film.
Against this eerie background, a twisted mind has
I'll
brought
say
a
that
series of
we just
sadistic
talked about
events.
Black Sunday. This is shot very similar to Black Sunday. And the way the story structure is very similar to Black Sunday. So I think if you like Black Sunday,
and
you're
Europe's
really gonna like
fabulous
this
new
movie.
star,
They kind of go
the
hand in hand.
extravagantly
Really,
beautiful
both of them
Sheila
really well
Darville.
done.
They say that trouble began with a woman, and you will see
the first
why
time you watch
in
it,
the terrifying Mill
I'll tell you
of
that the
Stone
first
Women.
half of this movie
You've never
is a
seen anything
little
like
bit
the Mill
dragging
of
at
the Stone
times.
Women.
It's building up a story that maybe takes a little bit too long. That's kind of where some of the hesitation comes from calling it like a masterpiece. But the last half of this is so eerie. I mean, especially if we're talking about Italian Gothic horror type films. I mean, the sets are beautiful in this movie. The acting in it is great. I would love to see this in a theater at some point. Hopefully at one point I could. Exciting. The classic shock
the Mill
of all time.
Of the Stone Women.
All right, Mill of the Stone Women. This is a largely, well, I guess it's an all-European international co-production.
Yeah, largely it's attributed to Italy. A lot of people had their hands in this though, but it's the poster kind of describes the original poster. This is like all these words: chilling, macabre, frightening, terrifying. I'm like, hey, it's another one. Like 1960 was a crazy freaking year, man. Lots of game changers from different countries. Everybody kind of changed in their own little part of the world of horror.
Mm-hmm. Got a little more intense.
Got a little more intense, Lloyd. A little dirty.
So apparently this movie is streaming on FlixFling, which I'm not real familiar with that service. And you can also rent it $1.99 on Amazon. Had a DVD in the U.S. by Mondo Macabro in 2004, but there is a Blu-ray, you say?
Yeah, the French Blu-ray. Gotta have a region free player though, guys. I'm sorry, but the French Blu-ray is really, really good. They did a wonderful limited edition release, and it's still available for $35. Beautiful resto done on this. I told you my only letdown was with that Blu-ray was that for some reason they included the English dub track on it. So you can't watch it English dub, but a lot of people like myself wanted a French audio with English subtitles, which wasn't included. That's never been released by anybody, So hopefully at some point we'll get that.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Awesome. Okay.
Or I'll hire somebody who speaks French to make me my own. So I'll be like, please. S'il vous plaît.
S'il vous plaît.
So
okay, you are up next, Charles, with the next one.
Yeah, this is a fun one too. A young college student arrives in a sleepy Massachusetts town to research witchcraft and discovers a startling secret about the town and its inhabitants, Lloyd.
What could that be?
This was released in the UK, September 1960. It is the British supernatural horror film City of the Dead, directed by John Louis Moxey and starring Christopher Lee. Also released as Horror Hotel in the United States. That's how I always knew it, as Horror Hotel.
Same here. Same here. I started seeing that City of the Dead title later, and it always confused me. I was like, what is this movie? I've never seen this.
Same here. It was always Horror Hotel, and then I think it was the one Blu-ray that came out or something was finally reverted back to the original title. Everybody was like, I don't know that movie. They were like, Horror Hotel. It's like, oh, I know that.
Oh, okay. I get it now.
Why did you say so?
Why didn't you just say it was Horror Hotel?
Horror Hotel.
Stupid.
Stupid son of a bitch. What's funny about this is that, which I guess is right because it's based in Massachusetts, but it's a British film. It's a British film with British actors, but they made them all speak English accents, like American accents. So
yeah,
which normally they didn't do. Normally it was just like, they're British. It's okay.
Yeah, whatever. We kind of like those guys now. We'll let them keep their accent.
We'll let them keep their accent. But no, yeah, City of the Dead is. This is a great movie. This is a fun movie. I think a lot of people would like this one. I think this is an easier watch than some of the other ones on the list. It flows a little bit easier. It's really short. This movie's like an hour and 10 minutes long. That's it. It's really short. And yeah, I like this movie. Yeah. I like Horror Hotel. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Brad Bingham says he confused this with the City of the Living Dead in the 80s because of the titles. Yeah, that's happened to me before too.
Yeah, I know that Horror Hotel's like one thing. Like when this was finally released, the City of the Dead, Horror Hotel, the US is a little bit shorter. It's like 90 seconds shorter, and all I can really tell is they cut out a lot of swear words that are in the British version that they didn't want over here. That seems like that's all they did, was just block stuff out. That's about the only difference I could tell. So maybe there's something else. Maybe there's something else I didn't see, but I didn't really notice a difference in it.
Travis says it clocks in at an hour and 18.
Oh man. Well, it feels like an hour 10, Travis.
Yeah.
It goes by so quick.
It goes by quick.
No, this is a good movie. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I've always enjoyed this one. I remember watching this. I actually watched this recently too, because I had got a VHS copy of Horror Hotel, and I was like, I'm just gonna put this in and see if it works. And I just watched the whole thing again. This is a fun movie. It's one of those it's kind of easy to put on, and it's easy to watch. It's got a great cast. Christopher Lee, of course, is Christopher Lee. I'm not gonna watch him narrate me, going to the bathroom. I'd be excited. I'd be like, you tell me, Christopher. Well, Charles.
There's also a Misfits song too.
City of the Dead.
Horror Hotel.
Horror Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say that the City of the Dead is definitely a lot better title than Horror Hotel. Horror Hotel sounds really tacky.
Yeah.
When you compare it, you're like, that's a lot better title.
Yeah, like, and I don't know what it is about the word horror, but I guess it's because we kind of say it really fast, but a lot of people are saying that it sounds like Horror Hotel.
Horror Hotel. I get that a lot when I say it. What kind of hotel, Charles? Horrors.
Horrors. They're horrors.
There's how many horrors in this hotel? That was the sequel that me and Lloyd made called Horror Hotel.
Yeah.
All right.
The blood of these whores is killing me, Charles.
I can't. I need fresh blood. I can't. I need it. No, this movie is great. I mean, this is another one that almost felt like a Hammer horror film. It kind of felt like a Hammer horror film. Looks really great. I mean, like I said, cast is great. Shot done. It's I don't know. You have a really good use of fog in this movie. Like the way they have it rolling through the town and some of the scenes is really, really good. I think a lot of people would like this one. I mean, I think this is a super enjoyable movie. One that's, it's one that's you can watch with like your family and stuff too. That's not, pushing any boundaries or super graphic. It's just a fun throwback horror movie. I think a lot of people would enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. And the good thing is you can watch this on YouTube. I mean, on Tubi right now, free with ads. Tubi.
Free with ads. Tubi.
You can rent it for $1.99 on YouTube, and VCI will sell you a Blu-ray for about $15, right, Charles?
Yeah, I think it's funny. The only people showing this is Tubi, free with ads. Tubi's like, yep, we done got it, guys.
This movie has been, I think it's a public domain film, unfortunately.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I know the VCI one that came out is a decent remaster, and that's when the first time I think when we had seen it called City of the Dead. Like everything else had always been Horror Hotel, Right. I may be wrong on that, but there may be a DVD out there. But I recall the DVD also being called Horror Hotel. But I think you're right. I think this is one like Night of the Living Dead, because for a while on VHS and DVD, there was like 93 different versions of this.
Yep.
You know, from
They
different
were
companies.
all over the place.
Yeah, it was all horror hotel. It'd be the ones you'd see at Dollar General for like 37 cents. They'd be like, "Did you get your copy of Horror Hotel or Night of the Living Dead?" No. There you go, 35 cents. Okay, thank you.
There you go. What's up? So what do we got? We've already talked about streaming and everything.
That's it, man.
The next film up is the last one, guys. The very last one.
And I've left you guys a good one that you can't find. So I'm sorry ahead of time. So
yeah,
I'm sorry.
All right. So the next movie, a lonely and bitter young heiress becomes dangerously obsessed with legends surrounding a vampire ancestor who supposedly murdered the young brides of the man she loved. Released in France, September 14th, 1960, it's the French-Italian costume horror film Blood and Roses, directed by Roger Vadim, based on the 1872 novella Carmilla.
Yeah, this is an absolutely phenomenal film. This is an absolutely beautiful film. Now, Roger Vadim virtually invented lesbian vampire genre in this movie. It was very little screened. It was released in the US at one point, but the US heavily cut it by a lot. And this movie's great. I like this movie so much that I imported the German DVD because unfortunately, guys, before I get too much into this movie has never been released in the US on any format. It's never been streaming in the US. It's not available for rental in the US. It's available only in Germany. So I'm sorry. I did this to you.
Yeah.
I apologize for the inconvenience that I've caused you, but this is a fantastic movie. So maybe one day you guys can, maybe we can push somebody to bring this out for us. This is to be a great movie for like Arrow to bring out, or something like that.
Right. But you're saying that there's a DVD in Germany, Region 2 for $20. So
yeah, so that is literally the only way you can get this movie anywhere in the world is the German DVD. The German DVD does have English subtitles on it. It has the original German audio on it with English subtitles. The DVD doesn't look that good, but it looks better than this has probably ever been seen. If you have a region-free DVD player, I'd recommend getting that. It's a Region 2, which means it's, DVDs, unlike Blu-rays, guys, Blu-rays have 3 regions and DVDs had like 8. So you really need a region-free DVD player. But this is a great movie. I wish it was somewhere for you to see, but this movie was a precursor very much to a lot of the lesbian vampire films we saw in 68 through like 74. There was a lot of them. Yeah. This one started
primarily from Gene Rollin.
Yeah, primarily from Gene Rollin. But this movie is very, very, very well made. Very well made. And I think you can even get the I think that if you have a region free player, I'm pretty sure the DVD, the Germany DVD is on Amazon US, but I think it costs a lot more than if you order it from Germany and have it shipped over, as I recall. But this is a good movie. I hope, has anybody ever seen this one? I really wish I really wish they would, but Richard said watch party. I'm like, oh, let's watch it. Let's have a party.
Yeah, he says I guess you'll have to act it out for us.
Drive-in movie at the store. That's what Cynthia said. Ali wants to cosplay as the Great Tyrant in Barbarella. All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ashley Guillory, I think she says I saw it.
You've seen it, Ashley? See, Ashley's always like coming out of left field. Ashley's seen everything.
Yeah. Charles says he's heard of it but not seen it. So this might be a good little treasure, to run out there and kind of mine for and find you a copy of it.
Yeah, I would say it's worth getting that DVD to watch this. Super like not very much seen film that I think everybody should watch. It's really, really great. It was pretty much gone after 1962. It played in France and Germany, some places. Then it just kind of disappeared. It went to other countries and was super edited. And about 62, 63, it just disappeared off the face of the earth. And yeah, when it was finally being released on DVD a few years ago, I was excited because I'd never seen it, but I'd always heard of this movie, this infamous movie that was supposed to be really good, that was a precursor to a lot of the 70s vampire, lesbian style vampire films, which are pretty good. And I'm not talking about porn movies, guys. I'm talking about like those gothic ones that were done by, who Lloyd mentioned. Right. We'll do a show on him one day too. He's an interesting fella. But yeah, this is a great movie though. Really surprised me. I think, I think more people who see this and maybe spread the word on it, more chance we have of getting a better copy of this at some point.
Yeah,
I think you'll like it. I think it's very memorable. The score in it is really great. It moves really well. The actresses in it are beautiful and they're really talented. I mean, this is great. This is a great movie.
Awesome. Well, I love Brad. Brad says, will we see the dancers scene from The Vampire and the Ballerina, also released in 1960? Well, guys, this was the movie that we just covered, was the last movie on the list, but we do have an honorable mentions video that Charles has made up, and it's a really good one. There's a lot of good stuff on this. Should we go ahead and roll that, Charles?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, here it goes,
let's
guys.
Roll it.
Honorable mentions for 1960.
Yeah. La la la.
USA. See your Chevrolet. Start the 60s right with the finest Chevy ever. Here's the Impala convertible. New outer grace.
Ashley
New
says no
inner
leech
space.
women.
With a kind of solid
Yeah,
comfort you
there
enjoy.
were a few. There were quite a few films out there that we didn't get to, but
there was a lot more than I thought there was. And yeah, unfortunately, I don't have Leech Woman on here. It's not that I'm not. I think Leech Woman's an okay film. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Leech Woman, but that's a good sci-fi horror film. It's a decent black and white shot film. I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember I wasn't the hugest fan.
The Vampire and the Ballerina.
I like Vampire and the Ballerina. That's a great movie. There are a few other movies from 1960 that I liked, but there's actually a couple other really good Japanese films from 1960. But unfortunately, they weren't really on the level that kind of wanted to spend a lot of time talking about them. But
yeah,
they also didn't have any sort of clips or anything I could put in honorable mentions. So.
Here is a motion picture filled with startling mystery. The story of a haunting question that drives a man to the brink of insanity. Mr. Mouse.
Yeah, Vampire and the Ballerina is a good one, though. You guys are right. Telltale Heart's a really good one, too. These are all pretty good movies.
You know. You can hear it, Council.
Well, maybe I know Ashley's mentioned Leech Woman. Maybe I'll rewatch Leech Woman because I haven't seen that in a while.
Oh, this is one they need to pay attention to.
Are you ready for your mystery dance?
Oh, it's mystery.
Hey, there I was. Shut the door on that guy.
New Milton Bradley game of romance and mystery that's just for you. And you. And you.
You guys just could skis,
There was nothing to hurt you. I owe you so much. I love you.
I was so handsome.
She was
You
his
were.
one weakness. Maniac who first healed and then killed.
I think we just hurt people's heads.
I know, they were like, what?
Is filled with unexpected danger and terror.
That was funny.
And the doctor
Circus of Horrors is a fun movie.
It is. Circus of Horrors
uses
is
his
fun.
sinister skill to make a circus of criminals perform at his
I don't know.
bidding.
There's the last one in our honorable mentions coming up is a fantastic film that I had to put on the list. It's coming soon. It's
Okay, coming soon.
The Two Faces of Dr. Jekyll. That's also a pretty decent one
And
too.
the face of torment.
Where's Henry?
It kind of borders not so much horror, but still a fun movie. I can't remember that actor's name. He's really good. Here it is. Oh, I love this movie. Oh, I love this movie. Monstrous. Yes, this movie is so
I love
great.
the creepy sounds on this.
This is a fantastic Spanish film. It's called, I believe translated, it's called Cave of the Monsters, and it's literally about this sexy spaceship lady who comes down, and there's a cowboy in it. This is a great movie. I'm gonna tell everybody, it's a great movie. Come down.
I gotta see this. Wow, he speaks very, very good Spanish.
He does,
No
doesn't he?
Monster spoke such good Spanish.
Oh, he did. Yeah, thanks, Charles. Yeah, Paul Messi played Jekyll. Yeah, thanks, Charles.
All right, guys. That is the end of our 1960, the first year of the decade of 1960. What do you guys think? Any favorites on here that you really liked?
I just saw Allie's comment. Allie, there is one movie that he did that I did not put on the list that was supposed to be on
another
honorable
great
mentions.
show. Will the
And
event
it's
on
probably gonna
Saturday
upset
be
some
by
people,
a
but I
I might bring Lloyd
That's
some refreshments if
that's
I
the
am
William
able
Castle
to
film
make it
13
out.
Ghosts, and I'm sorry. It's a great movie, and it should have been honorable mention. It's not as good as the movies on our normal list because 13 Ghosts has some stuff wrong with it, but I meant for that to be on honorable mentions, and yeah, sorry.
Hey,
Sorry.
it happens.
I just work here. I was sick today. All right.
Yeah, I want to repeat this. Richard Nettleton super chatted us
Another
$10.
great show.
Oh, thanks,
Will
Richard.
the
Hang on a
event on
second.
Saturday be by a I might bring Lloyd some refreshments if I am able to make it out.
So he says another great show. Will the event on Saturday be BYOB? I might bring some refreshments. I might bring Lloyd some refreshments if I'm able to make it out. Yeah, come on out and bring some for Charles too. Charles will be there as well. We'd love to see you. And thank you for the $10 tip, Richard. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Charles Sanderson said 13 Ghosts, Mr. Sardonicus. Mr. Sardonicus, I think, was 61 because I think I have that on the 61 list. Mr. Sardonicus. But yeah, Travis said 13 Ghosts is just a good film. That's why I had 13 Ghosts pulled to go in honorable mentions, and mainly just so I could show that weird scene they did when they saw the ghost. It was like, whoa, everything went dark. It was just, it's not a good movie, but it's fun to watch for that. David Dugas says 60 is blah. Well, David Dugas did not like 1960.
Yeah.
Damn, David.
Well, it happens, I'm kind of, it's all right. I mean, I like a lot of the films that are here, but we talked about some that I haven't seen that I definitely need to. Village of the Damned is a super well-known film. It's just not something that I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, I mean, the 60s I think had a lot of good films, but a lot of films that aren't for everybody. Everybody has their own specific type of horror taste they like, and I get a lot of these movies why people don't necessarily like them. There's some on here I can say are fantastic films, but I don't find them rewatchable at all because some of them are a struggle to get through, but I like Brides of Dracula a lot. Psycho is a great movie. Blood and Roses and Mill of Stone Women are great movies, but we'll move on next week to 61 and we'll kind of see how we progress throughout the 60s.
Awesome.
Now,
sounds great.
You guys want to see slow years? Wait till we get to the 50s. I've already told Lloyd, wait till we get to the 50s because we're going to do like 1950 to 1955 in one show. That's it. It's done. We're out.
All right. Well, thank you guys, everybody, for joining us.
Let's do a giveaway. Let's do a giveaway.
Okay. Sounds good. Go for it.
I had something pulled. Why don't you ask people a question, Lloyd, and I'll Figure out where my giveaway thing went. Ask him that same question you always ask.
I don't even remember what that is right now.
Well, I don't either, but they always remember. They always remind us. So
yeah. I don't know. Let's see.
Ask him a question
What's
about
a good
1960.
Question? A good question about 1960.
1960. Ah, here it is.
What movie did Alfred Hitchcock direct in 1960? No, I don't. That's not the question.
First person to tell me what movie Alfred Hitchcock directed before he directed Psycho.
Yeah, that's a good one. Ask it again, Charles.
That? Tell me the movie Alfred Hitchcock directed before he directed Psycho. So what was the movie that came out the year before Psycho? And it's super well known.
Ali Tappa was the first on YouTube. Let me just check Twitch and make sure I didn't miss somebody over there. Okay, Stars fan Debbie Disaster on Twitch said Rope.
Rope was 1948. That was a little bit before.
So back over to YouTube, Ali Tappa said Vertigo.
Vertigo was not it, but it's close. Vertigo was 1958. There was a movie in 1959.
Richard Nettleton said Vertigo. Todd Lewis said, I used to know that. Cynthia Saunders said Birds.
Birds was 1963 after. Birds was his follow-up.
Richard Nettleton said Horror Motel.
Horror Motel. Oh, I see it here. Stark Adder.
I see
Stark Adder, 23. North by Northwest. That is the right one. North by Northwest. Yeah. So Alfred Hitchcock had a phenomenal 1950s that he closed out with North by Northwest in 59. And Vertigo was 58. So it was close. I even tell you what I'm giving away. I'm giving away, since we're talking about the 60s, I'm giving away a double Blu-ray of Hammer films of Maniac and Die, Die, My Darling. Ooh.
Die, my darling.
Yeah, so we've got 1963's Maniac and 1965, I believe. Die, My Darling on here on this Blu-ray. This Hammer Films double feature Blu-ray is now the proud owner of Stark Adder 23.
Sweet.
Boom.
So Stark Adder, you need to contact us. Tell them where they can contact you, Charles, to get that.
You can either just jump on Facebook and message us in the Frightmare HQ Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, you can email us. Easiest way to email me is just go to frightmarehq.com. It has all the links on the bottom. And the email is just charlesdoes@frightmarehq.com. That's also on frightmarehq.com. Lots of frightmarehq.com stuff. We'll get you over to us, though. Send me over your address, and I will drop that in the mail, and you can experience the beautiness of Maniac and Die, Die, My Darling on Blu-ray.
Awesome. All right, what else, Charles?
Man, that's it for till next week, but we will be here. We're not here, but we will be live on Saturday at Frightmare Collectibles with everybody.
That's right. Frightmare Collectibles, try to come out and visit with Felisa Rose, the original Angela from Sleepaway Camp, and Dave Sheridan. These guys were also in Victor Crowley together, and they've done multiple other films together. Come out and visit with them. They're doing autographs. They're doing selfies. It's $30 for an autograph, $30 for a selfie, or they'll do a $40 combo, autograph and selfie. And they'll have stuff on hand, or you can bring your own items and have them signed.
Yeah, Lloyd will be signing for $135 an autograph.
That is correct.
$135, and he'll do a autograph and photo combo for $600. So that's Lloyd.
There you go. All right, I hope we see you guys out there this weekend. I think that's going to wrap up the show for the day.
Yeah,
I hope you enjoyed 1960. We had a good time. Thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And feel free to drop us a comment and a like, and so share us, whatever. But definitely love comments. If there's something we missed, throw it in the comments, because there's probably some movies we missed, because it's kind of a hard decade to narrow them down, because there's a lot of movies that are now considered horror that aren't really horror. They're other genres. So do it.
There you go. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and sign out for the night. I've had a great time. You've been watching Frightmare HQ. Good to see everybody. My name is Lloyd, and I am here with
Charles Doze. I'm here.
All right, guys, peace out, and I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I hope we see you Saturday.